Several colleges across the country are investigating a rash of anti-Semitic flyers, which began printing from their network-connected printers or fax machines. And they also reference the Daily Stormer, 31-year-old Andrew Anglin's website, at least one of the founders of that website. And I spoke to my brother, who works at the Anti-Defamation League, about this. As if anti-Semitism wasn't already a big enough problem on college campuses, the flyers started printing off of network-connected machines, or for schools that still have the fax machines, coming out of the fax machines late last week at a bunch of institutions: Princeton University, Brown University, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, University of Southern California, Los Angeles, UCal Santa Cruz, Northeastern University in Boston, anecdotal reports of BU here in Boston, University of Rhode Island, Connecticut, DePaul University, Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, my alma mater, the University of Massachusetts Amherst. The chancellor of UMass Amherst, a very good guy actually, Kumbal Subbaswamy, called the flyers cowardly in an email to students and family and faculty members. And this just completely blowing up, Lewis. Apparently, Andrew Anglin, or whoever was in charge of this at the Daily Stormer, getting some IT experts to hack in and start printing stuff off. The flyers are addressed to the white man. And they say, "Are you sick and tired of the Jews destroying your country through mass immigration and degeneracy?" The source, as I mentioned, understood to be none other than the Daily Stormer. What do you think about this, Lewis? I mean, this is really getting bad.
It is. It's hard for me to imagine that these flyers, especially considering the places they're being printed out, would convince anyone of anything.
Right.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. Maybe Anonymous should start looking into the Daily Stormer.
Yeah, have they not? I thought that they were involved in looking into some of these white supremacist websites.
Well, this one looks like a prime candidate.
Yeah, they're alive and well, no question about that. The same founder of the Daily Stormer, Andrew Anglin, first got involved in the 9/11 Truther movement, which promotes all sorts of different conspiracy theories about 9/11, not the least of which is that Jews and or Israel planned and or carried out 9/11. Anglin has also declared that Jews are the open and public destroyers of society and that Jews are the enemy of the white race. I never understand, Lewis. Sometimes Jews are the enemies of the white race, and sometimes Jews are privileged whites that need to be shunned for being privileged. I never understand it, you know, and we talked about this last week a little bit, but it seems to go back and forth depending on what type of conspiracy you're trying to push forward.
And sometimes they rule the world in every aspect. And other times there isn't a Jewish presidential candidate who wins one primary since Bernie Sanders.
Right. Before or after. Until Bernie Sanders, you mean, rather. Yeah. Really despicable stuff. And like I said, we're regularly in touch with our contacts at the Southern Poverty Law Center, at the Anti-Defamation League, two of the organizations that look at and track extremists and all of these types of organizations. And it continues rising. We saw a huge rise of it because we have a half-black president. That really energized these racist, extremist hate groups. But now we are also seeing it twofold, partially because Bernie Sanders is Jewish, and the longer he stays in, the more anti-Semitic stuff there is about Bernie. But number two, because the Donald Trump candidacy has really created a sort of safe haven, both physically in terms of the Trump rallies and ideologically in terms of the Trump supporters, to coalesce around just horrible, horrible extremist ideas. And I don't believe that we should write any of it off as unimportant or irrelevant or fringe, because a significant portion of the Republican base has been coalesced and energized by this stuff, and it is incredibly disturbing. We'll take a break. After the break, we'll talk about the new film, The Brainwashing of My Dad, with filmmaker Jen Senko.